today we're going to show the difference between a $25 haircut versus $55 haircut. When did you get your haircut?
4 days ago.
So all things considered, his $25 haircut is actually pretty good, a lot better than most of the ones that I've seen. You could see here, I would just probably would like to add a little bit more detail here. So if you look here, you could just see that there's just a little bit of spots that are missing here. And then this is not really lined up there, and that's kind of left like that. See how this is just a little bit longer? We could refine this part a little bit more. Overall, do you remember how long it took for the haircut?
More like 30, I think it's 30 minutes.
30 minutes? Okay. So my haircuts are typically about 45 minutes. So a $25 haircut usually has some time constraints. That's why all these details aren't really executed. But I would say overall, it's fine for something that was 30 minutes. But to get all of these details, you want a little bit more time. So that's why I typically have mine at 45 minutes. Sometimes I take an hour if it's if we're doing like a bald fade or something. I actually cut his hair previously back in May for his wedding. I was hoping that this part would be left alone, so I'm very picky when it comes to lining this part up. So that's not very straight. So we're gonna, we can't really, we could try to straighten it out, but it's just a little bit too short. So let's look at the back here. Again, with the time constraint, people don't always have the time to actually blur this line out. So you could see that the person squared it off here, which is not bad, all things considered. It's not quite straight, but I'd probably just blend this in with his skin. I don't ever ask my clients whether they want it rounded or squared, because if you look at people's hairlines, like there's no hairline that's perfect. So it's really difficult to get like a perfect straight line or even curve, right? So see how this grows down, this grows to the right, and this grows here. It's actually pretty ideal for a fade. So then I would just fade that in. So this back part, again, it's not bad, but if we look here, we could just, I'm probably going to scissor over comb this just to make it even more perfect and blended. It's just about half an inch, quarter of an inch to half an inch too long. So we just want to blend that so you can see the line right here. So we'll just blend that a little bit more. And if we're looking at the length here, so he parts his hair here. So I actually put in this part for his wedding. So good that she followed that, I guess. So that's good. But then if we hold it up here, I would prefer this to be a little bit shorter here and then a little bit longer here, just for that layer, because otherwise it becomes a little bit too rounded. So it's just this back part here, it's a little bit too long. So about that much of it is left out. You see how this is much shorter right here, right? So if we're connecting it like that, so you want it to connect at a 45-degree angle, which is about here. It's about a 45-degree angle. So then when you connect this part, it should be around here, almost like a 90-degree angle. Therefore, if you pull it up at a 90, this is the shortest piece, this is the longest piece. So we want to, a lot of times when I see $25 haircuts, they put all the focus here because this is what the client can see. They often slack on this back part a little bit because generally speaking, men are not going to be going to to their own mirror and checking the back of their head. They're just assuming that. My clients look at every detail, which is why I get the pickiest of clients. Most people don't. Like, you didn't really go and look at the back of your head, right? Often I see this back part just a little bit more messed up. So there's also no texturizing happening here. It's okay for his hair because it's not as dense, but typically with Asian hair, you want a little bit more texture just so you can see like a better flow there. Let's improve it. Part line here, and this is pretty much what I was talking about. When I pin up his hair, the line isn't exactly straight, but because his hair here is too short, for me to be able to straighten this out, we would need a little bit more length here, right? So that I could part it this way and make it perfect. Or the only other way is to take more from here, which we don't really want to do because then his part is going to be too high. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to leave the parting like this, and I'm actually just going to leave this part a little bit longer, and I'll just tell him to just grow it out when he goes back home. And then I'm just going to fade from here down. So, and I'm just gonna ignore this part. I'm just gonna kind of loosely blend it. But yeah, so that's what I mean, that this is why I make sure to part it straight. So by that, I mean like just really straight, like this line here. So this, she actually parted it a little bit too low, in my opinion. So I just took it a little bit higher there. So I'm also just gonna be leaving this length here. Shape so it kind of is a little bit more oval, because typically that's what you want to do. You want to enhance the oval shape, right? So earlier it was just a little bit too long here, so then I took quite a bit of length off of here as well. I raised the part a little bit. We still have that undercut feel going on here, and that's just like the preference of the client, and that's kind of what everyone wants right now. It's just like a slight undercut here. I did a lot of texturizing as well, so you can see that there's just like better flow. And then as I talked about earlier, just in the back, you see how it's all pretty seamless now and it doesn't have that line anymore. And it's just like a perfect round here. So I'm happy that she did not cut past the occipital bone, so we could still at least have this shape. So I'm happy about that. So all I had to do was blend it. The other thing that I did was I took quite a bit of time here on the neckline. So that's why in a $25 haircut, that's about 30 minutes, they're not necessarily gonna have the time to do that. So how she had it earlier, where it was square, that's kind of all you're gonna get. Unless they charge more money and spend more time in it, it's not really gonna be worth their time if you're only paying $25. So that's kind of what a $30 haircut is. Earlier, this was just a little bit longer, so you can see that I did line it up, but still not so like hard. Because we still just want to leave it a little bit more natural. That's kind of the preference of the barber and the client. Some people like it to be really, really lined up. I don't like the way that it grows out, so typically I just kind of just taper it off a little bit. It's still fairly lined up, but you see, like, I tried to follow his natural hairline as much as possible so we could avoid like little tiny hairs growing out of there. And I fixed this part here. I really relined it up as well. Still have this undercut look. So again, I wasn't able to fix this part because this is too short. Like if he was able to come back to me, I would probably suggest to grow this part out and I would reline this, but this is fine. It's not really a big deal because he parts it here anyways and it kind of hides it. For my haircuts, even if they can't see it, I still like to get the line perfect anyways. So I also changed the shape here. I like it when it's a little bit longer here and it's a little bit shorter here. It just flows a little bit better. Let's wash it and then style it. I'm gonna be using the alternator. So this is like a flexible styling spray. So basically you just spray a little bit. It's heat activated, so it's kind of like a liquid hairspray in a bottle. So you could use this as is, although it does have to be blow dried. Some of my clients say they can air dry it and it has a similar effect. Basically, it helps me like style it in place. So I usually have to convince my clients to blow dry their hair. It's really important to blow dry it, right? So like if you're taking your towel and you're drying it like this with a towel, it's probably going to stay like that. Your hair is going to stay the way you dry it. So think of it like a wrinkled shirt. If you have creases on it and it dries like that, it's gonna stay like that. So it's the same concept for hair. So if you don't dry it in the way that you want it, it's not gonna stay like that. So a lot of clients, like, they'll always complain like, what product is good so that my hair can stay up like this? I'm like, well, you have to blow dry it. Because if your hair dries like this, it's gonna stay like that all day. You're gonna have to use like a wad of product just to kind of keep it up here. The trick is really just to blow dry this much of the hair. So you see how in just a few seconds it stays up like that. And he has a part here, but I don't want to cut in the part because we want it to look natural. So I'm just gonna blow dry everything back and then I'm gonna put in the part later. It's not necessary to use a round brush, but if you have the capabilities and you have the time, it does give it a little bit of that boost. So you could see that I blow dried everything this way, and that's because like it'll give it time to kind of like slowly flatten out throughout the day. Like gravity will naturally bring it down, so you don't want to immediately blow dry it this way, otherwise it's just going to eventually become flat, especially if it's really humid out. So in here, kind of just like to have a loose part like this so it just looks more natural, right? And you can see because of the way that I blow dried, it's already going this way, right? You don't have to artificially try to put it in with the product because it's really not going to work. This is with just the alternator spray, but we still want to enhance it a little bit. It's totally fine to leave it like this. I would suggest if you want to leave it like this and have it more natural, just throw some hairspray in it and you should be good to go. So I like to use this in conjunction. So it's a very dry, matte paste. It's really workable. With long-ish hair, I would consider this more on the long hair side. You don't want anything too heavy, otherwise it clumps and it kind of sticks together. So make sure to always, a lot of guys like to just take the product and they just put it on the tips of their hand and then they put a whole glob in the front. So you don't want to do that. So you can see the product's like not even, you can't even see it, kind of massage it into my hands. And then I like to start from underneath here, right? And I put it kind of everywhere like that. And because we blow dried it perfectly earlier, it's gonna come back to how we always blow dried it. So that's kind of the beauty of blow drying. So no matter which way you mess it up, it's still gonna go back to the original shape that we blow dried it, provided it was like a decent blow dry. So from here, I just do a little bit of like detailing, and then I usually get the client to kind of do whatever they want after this because it's pretty subjective. I don't really know how they want it, so then I'll just kind of put the product all over and I'll get the client to style it. This is the finished result.
Much better.
Yeah, much better.
Ano sa tingin mo?
Akala ko magiging ano lang siya, parang trim. Yung pagka-fade dito, ang ganda na. Kasi yung ginawa niya dati, yung ginawa niya before, parang ano lang, parang dinala lang ng isang number. Di ba? Parang ganun lang.
Yeah.
Tapos parang mayroon akong makapal na line dito. Ngayon, parang natural na siya dito. Everything looks good. Yung pagkaka-style mo, parang hindi ko na kailangan ayusin.
Yeah.
Okay na ako sa ganyan.
Ganda.
Ganda no? Ayun na. Approved by my wife.